Okay, so previously on this series, I've been telling you about the steps that I've taken so far as I attempt to run for something. So in my previous video, I talked about how I met with my state senator, Sarah Howard, and talked to her about her experience in running for elected office and got her insight on what best steps she would recommend that I take getting started. Following that, I met with the head of the Douglas County Democratic Party, Crystal Rhoades, and she is, in addition to working on the Nebraska Public Service Commission, also is heading up the Democratic Party here in Douglas County, and does an exemplary job of that. Sitting down with her was invaluable. It showed me a bunch of the different ways in which the party can help provide resources to people who are interested in running for office, as well as provide opportunities for people like me who want to get involved to help out and do things that will help put more progressive people on the ballot. So I would imagine if you are a Democrat, getting in contact with Crystal Rhoades if you want to do something would be a great step forward. Also, just getting involved on Facebook, on the website that they have there, reaching out to the online resources that they have, you'll hear all about the different events that they've got going on that you can get involved in if you just want to do some kind of light things like that. If you are interested in running, then yeah, getting a hold of Crystal Rhoades, sitting down with her. If you're interested in running, she wants to know about you. She sat down with me and we kind of went over the best ideas of places for me to run. So we kind of ended up narrowing it down to 3 races that I feel particularly comfortable with. 2 of them are Douglas County Commissioner positions. One would be in the neighborhood I'm living in right now. The other one would be in the neighborhood I used to live in where my parents live. The other potential race that I could run would be a state senator position. That would be, again, in the neighborhood my parents currently live in that I used to live in. So for 2 of these 3, I'd have to move in order to actually run for these positions. Or alternatively, I could stay where I'm at. But I started kind of researching into that. The state senator position is currently being represented by Burke Haar, and he's doing a great job. He is about to hit term limits, and so we'll need somebody to run in his place. In talking to Crystal, learned about somebody who is interested in particularly running for that position, so I've already set up a time to go meet with this person, talk with them, and find out how seriously they're taking it, if they're genuinely interested. From what I've researched about this person, they seem like an exemplary candidate, and so in that case, I'd probably just want to help them succeed in running for that. If they're not so sure, and maybe they would like somebody waiting in the wings in case that's not something they want to take on, then I'd be overjoyed to have an opportunity to run for legislature. In terms of Douglas County Commissioner positions, I reached out to Marc Kraft, and I'll get more into hearing from him in a bit. That's the one that's in my parents' district, so I'd have to move if I was going to run for his seat. The alternative is staying where I am and running for the Douglas County Commissioner position here, which is currently represented by Mike Boyle, who is a former mayor, has been on the commission for a really long time, and is probably going to run the next time. I would have no realistic chance of beating him in a race, and I don't really want to if he's doing a good job, so that might be a way off. I don't know when he plans to step down from being a commissioner, and so if that's not going to be for a really long time, then maybe I need to move on to something else. But if it's something he's been contemplating, then we'll find out about that and see if that's something that can work. So those are the 3 primary races that I'm considering. Since we last spoke, I've done a whole bunch of different things. I went to a central committee meeting, which was kind of just this big meeting of all these different Democrats. They all come together, and people can make different decisions. They vote on things that are relevant to the party about how they want the Democratic Party locally to respond to certain things. There was also a time for different candidates for city council races got up and spoke and said, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm running for. A few of those people were Brian Thomas, who's running in District 7, Kamara Snipe, who is running in District 4, Maurice Jones, who's running in District 2. Also, we got State Senator Tony Vargas from District 7 came in and talked about a variety of legislative bills that are particularly important to him that he wanted to see people help him support. There's a few bills that deal with teen pregnancy and how our schools best accommodate students who are pregnant or are mothers. And there was another bill about payday lending reform. There was also another bill, LB 163, that's about expanding early vote locations so that you can so that more people can have, obviously, access to voting. That was a great opportunity. I got to speak with a bunch of like-minded folks and see how a lot of this inner working goes on within the party. A little while later, I went to an event called the Blue Bench Project, and this is it's actually a series of events, and they're designed to help people who are interested in running for office or interested in helping various progressive candidates get into office know how they can help and how to run for office. And so this first one kind of went over how to make phone calls. And they had everybody rounded up in Heath Mellow's office here in Omaha. They also did one in Lincoln and another one, I think, out in somewhere in western Nebraska. Anyway, but they had a few different meetings like this. They took about an hour, told us this is how you make phone calls. They also gave a bunch of people this cool book called Rules for Revolutionaries, How Big Organizing Can Change Everything. Pretty cool. Free book. I like it. And after a little bit of instruction, they had us all hit the phones for about 3 hours. And it was a really interesting experience. I got to meet a few more people and refine my phone call skills, and it was a fun time. About the next day, there was a big rally in response to Donald Trump's executive order on immigration from 7 countries in the Middle East. And so I was psyched. They had given me a sign that I could use from the Blue Bench training, and I made my own sign. It was not particularly spectacular, but I was proud of it, and went down to the park and stood out there with everybody else, and it was just a really awesome experience. And it was great to see so many people come together to support our minority communities and our refugee communities here in Omaha. It was a beautiful thing. So, very proud of them. Following that, a few days later, I was able to sit down and meet with Marc Kraft, the Douglas County Commissioner from the neighborhood where my parents still live. And he has been doing a great job. He's been a commissioner for quite a while. He just recently won re-election. And it was great to be able to sit down with him. He told me a bit about his upbringing and where he comes from. He certainly made it sound like there was a lot of business owners in his family growing up. And so there was a kind of conversation that we had about the value of bringing financial sense into government. So that's not necessarily treating government like a business, but treating government with financial competence. It was very interesting. I got to kind of pick his brain. He gave me a bunch of people to reach out to and some other books to read. I've got a lot of reading to get to. Did not give me heads or tails on whether or not he plans to run again, but that's perfectly fine. I'm excited to see what happens. In any case, I'm very happy that I got the insight that I got from him. So that is pretty much what I've done so far. I'm planning on going to a rally tomorrow, and I am going to try and keep you guys updated. Hopefully these videos won't ramble quite as long as this one did. I plan to make these a little bit more regular, but now you're caught up to where I am right now. So now it'll be week by week. I'll catch you up on anything I've done in the past week. Sometimes there's not going to be anything, and I might just riff on what's going on in the world, because there's plenty. But thank you very much for checking this out, for watching, and till next time, see you around.